Talk, this is painful. I've done 3 miles at 20 miles an hour. It makes my heart warm when I see a new subscriber. Good evening, YouTube. Welcome to a Tesla Model 3 performance efficiency test. Does traveling slower mean you're going to travel further? Does traveling faster mean you're going to cover more miles and therefore is more efficient? Can we beat today the Tesla official WLTP range of 328 miles in this car? So in a quick summary, and then we'll get on with it. I'm going to do 5 back-to-back experiments. I'm going to do 20 miles in all of them. I'm going to start at 20 miles an hour. I'm going to go 30 miles an hour, 50, 60, and 70 miles an hour. I'm going to do them all for 20 miles. It's going to take me around 3 hours or so, I reckon. I'm going to edit out all the boring stuff. I'm going to give you all the information, all the stats, and all the good juicy gossip. We're keeping it in insane mode for the whole time, because why the hell not? If the video does well, I'll come back and stick it into chill mode potentially, and we can see some differences and see if it is actually different, or as I think, it might just be your right foot behaving differently when you've got it in insane compared to chill. Also, I'm going to be creating a leaderboard of how well different EVs do and genuinely how efficient they are at those different speeds. So screw what the brands say with the WLTP ranges. Listen to this channel and we're going to get some real accurate readings at different speeds. So if you like this video or if you like any of my videos, please subscribe to the channel, hit a like, stick a comment down below, all the good stuff, all that YouTube admin. Right, let's move on to the video. We'll hit the road and I'm going to explain some of the other little rules and how to make it a fair test as we go. Welcome, my friends. We are en route to the test site. So in the interest of fairness, I'm going to do all these runs back to back. So the weather, it's a perfect, lovely, calm evening actually. We're looking at around 15 degrees at the moment. It's going to drop to about 14 degrees centigrade. That equates to about 55 degrees Fahrenheit for our American viewers. So the weather is going to remain the same for all of these tests because they're back to back. The road conditions are all going to be the same. As you can see in the bottom right of the picture, the tyre pressure is a little bit low at the moment because we've only just started. I'm going to get them up to their optimum temperatures. I'm really trying to make this as fair test as possible. So the aircon is going to be set to 19 for every run. The fan setting is actually on like a manual setting. It's not on auto because the car does go a bit crazy sometimes. It's just on a fan setting of 1. There's no ventilated or heated seats, and I'm not going to use the phone charger. On the screen there you have the trip cards. So we're going to be using trip card Alpha for this test. The maths behind this is, okay, because I'm going to do 20 miles, say at 20 miles an hour, when I hit that 20 miles at 20 miles an hour, it'll give me how much energy I've used. So with that number, the usable energy for the battery of this car is 74 kilowatts. So then, of course, I can divide that number into 74, and it would tell me how many times, theoretically, I'd be able to do that trip. Basically, how many times I'd be able to do 20 miles over and over again at 20 miles an hour. So then with that number that we get, we'll times that by 20, multiply by 20, and that will give us our total range of what we could achieve in this car if it was charged to 100%. And I'm really actually hoping, and I have no confidence in WLTP ranges, I'm really hoping at the lower speeds especially, we might actually blow those numbers into pieces. So it's 328 miles is what we're after. And with a battery size of 74 kilowatts, if we can average 4.4 miles per kilowatt hour, then we will achieve that, or just over 4.4. Okay guys, welcome to the 20 mile an hour zone. Let's reset the trip and we are underway. So I think we're trying to keep it at 20 miles an hour because I'm going around roundabouts and things here at 20. It's just on a small industrial estate, so I'm not getting in the way of anyone because I can get out of their way pretty quick with so many roundabouts. I can't use the cruise control, which is a shame for my right foot, so I'm probably going to get cramped through my flipping calves at some point trying to hold this at 20 because it's tricky. This car does not want to do 20 miles an hour. I'm going to check back in 9.7 miles time and see how we're getting on at 20. Right, come on then. Let's smash those WLTP ranges. Come on. Okay guys, I couldn't resist but talk. This is painful. I've done 3 miles at 20 miles an hour. And by the looks of it, this is going to be ludicrously efficient. As I said, it all comes down to speed. You can be using as much kit as you like in the car. Sentry mode with all the cameras uses a lot of battery power, but it's all about the speed. The poor runner, I don't know if you can see him on the camera then on the right, keeps looking at me. I don't know if he thinks I'm going to jump out and kidnap him or something. Mate, this is for science. I'm just going up and down here. There's nothing to be worried about. Okay, folks, so I've come on to the Energy app, and this is actually a really interesting app. And if you have a Tesla, if you're not sure about this, you must look at it. Because if you look at the number at the top of the middle of the screen up here, that's what the car thinks 197 miles we're going to get. However, if you take into consideration how I've driven for the last 10 miles, look at that range. 266 now it thinks. So, I mean, it's an astronomical range. You can see the efficiency compared to how I've usually been driving. Obviously, it's going to be far more efficient than the average. But yeah, 20 miles an hour. This is using not a lot of energy at all. This is going to smash the WLTP range. So, as I mentioned earlier on, maybe if you live in Wales and you're stuck in and around 20s all the time, then actually your EV is going to be doing more than what the WLTP ranges are when they get a lot of stick, from me including, that they're just a load of rubbish. Yeah, maybe they're not. All right then, folks, we're nearly at halfway for 20 miles an hour. This is painful. So 9.9 miles now, we're 1.9 kilowatts of energy used. So obviously for the maths there, if we just say it's going to be 2, let's see where it is when we get to 20 miles. Because if it is 1.9 now, which it is, clearly there you go, 10 miles, 1.9. So let's just round it up to 2. So if it's going to be 4 kilowatts for 20 miles, if you divide 74 by 4, you get 18.5. So then you can times 18.5 by that 20. So how many times we're going to be able to do this trip at this speed? And you'd be able to get 370 miles. So actually that WLTP range of 328, all of a sudden, seems quite small. At that efficiency, if we're using 4 kilowatts of energy for 20 miles, 370 miles. So, right, speak to you in another 9.5 miles time. We're 15.1 miles in. It cut out then. I had because obviously recording for so long, I had the camera just constantly plugged in charging, and it didn't like it. It said it was starting to overheat, so it cut out for a while. So I've just been driving around, holding the camera out the window, trying to cool it down, and we are back. Right, 15.2 miles in. We've got under 5 miles left now at 20 miles an hour. I think in the future, in hindsight, I'm going to do these maybe for 10 miles. 10 miles is probably a long enough time to find out the efficiency of the car. As long as it's, we're creeping again. As long as it's warmed up nicely and ready to go, then I think 10 miles is going to be absolutely fine. At least when I do a bit faster, the time's going to go quicker, obviously. But yeah, 20 miles an hour, this has been a pain in the ass. So please hit that subscribe button. It does wonders. I know everyone on YouTube says it, but genuinely, if you had a small YouTube channel, you'll understand how wonderful it is. It makes my heart warm when I see a new subscriber, a new comment or something like that. So please, if you enjoy the content, especially if you're still hanging around at this point and you're not subscribed, then please hit that subscribe button. It's completely free and it really, really helps me out. Right. I'm going to shut up again. Hopefully the camera doesn't overheat again. Otherwise, I'm going to have my arm out the window again, getting cold. And I will check back in about 4 miles time when the 20 mile an hour test will be coming to an end and I will be able to experience a new stretch of road. It's going to be absolutely bliss. 19.8 miles. All right then, this is coming to an end quickly. Each lap of this industrial estate was about 0.7 of a mile, so we've done quite a few lengths of the damn thing. Okay, so 19.8, and we've used 3.8 kilowatt hours. So yep, as we thought, by the look of it, it's maintained the efficiency after 10 miles, so it's going to be virtually the same at 20 miles. As that shows, I haven't driven any differently. Everything has been as per the first 10 miles was, including them damn potholes. Okay, so that is 23.8. Right, let's have a little pullover in here, just do some maths quickly. So yeah, 3.8 kilowatts to do 20 miles. So if the total size of the usable battery, 74 kilowatts, divide that by 3.8, gives you 19.47, say. If we then multiply that by 20 miles, because that's how far we've driven, we would actually be able to cover just short of 390 miles. Whereas the WLTP said 328. So we have done considerably more. We've done a good 60 miles further if we were to extrapolate that up with driving in those exact conditions. As you can see there, the average energy on Trip Alpha, 188.3 watt hours per mile. That is extremely low. Let me remind you, this is a performance vehicle and we're in insane mode. So when I do this in chill mode at some other time, it's going to be interesting if that's any different. Right then, let's go and find a 30-mile-an-hour place and enjoy going a little bit faster. Wowzers, isn't doing 30 nice? Right, let's reset the trip and let's crack on. There we go. Right, we're going. We're back, folks. So nearly halfway through the 30-mile-an-hour stuff. We're at 8.8 miles, and it is slightly less efficient than 20, but not by a lot, actually. It's quite good. I just wanted to say, things like today, it shows the range on this car. I haven't bothered. Obviously, we're only doing 100 miles, so there was no reason to top it up any more than I normally would do. And also, there's no drama with doing this kind of test because I'll go home later on, we'll finish on whatever percentage we're going to. I'll top it up to 80%, be ready tomorrow morning. It'll have about 240 miles sat in it, and it'll probably cost about £2.50 through the night or something like that. It is so efficient and cheap to run. Of course, the monthly cost is a little bit more because we bought it brand new, but it was 0% when we got it, so why the hell not? The overall costs were hardly any different from going from a previous £12,000 car all the way up to this £60,000 absolute monster. So yeah, it's the fuel costs that we're just not afraid to use it because they're so cheap. It only costs a couple of pounds, £2, £3, £4 at most to fill it up through the night, and it's not going to cost that much tonight. Okay guys, there's 10 miles and it's done 2 kilowatts. So at the 20 mile an hour was at 1.9, 1.8, 1.9. So it's only slightly less efficient, hardly anything, 30 miles an hour. That feels a hell of a lot quicker getting to 10 miles there compared to doing it at 20 miles an hour. I'm telling you. And it's hardly less efficient. So actually 30 miles an hour, the average speed around most, well, all towns, villages in the UK, cities, it's doing really, really well. This is still going to beat the WLTP range by quite some amount, but we'll figure that out when we get there. Right, it's in about 9.5 miles. Okay, 15.5 miles into the 30-mile-an-hour test, and it is on schedule by the looks of it. We're 3/4 of the way through. It's done 3.1 kilowatts. Hours of energy it's used, so we're looking at just being just over 4 kilowatts of energy that are going to be used for this test. But I'll check back in 4 miles time, and then we'll be able to move on to there's a lot bit 50 mile an hour stuff, a lot faster, a little bit more exciting for me. I do need to charge the camera again shortly, so hopefully it doesn't melt in my hand. It's actually an Osmo Action 4, so it's a pretty decent camera. It's burning through its battery, obviously. Well, it's recording in 4K, 50 frames, and trying to use the Rocksteady motion, Rocksteady Plus on the camera for the stability, because these roads are awful. So I suppose it is burning through its battery. Anyway, check back in a bit, and we'll wrap up the 30-mile-an-hour test. We're back, guys. All right, excuse me if I have camera problems. But yeah, it's starting to get a bit warm, so I'm having to hold it out the window. We're at 19.6 miles. We are very nearly done at 30 miles an hour. As you can see, we're just about to click over 4 kilowatt hours, which was as expected, and the average energy has been 195 at the moment watt hours per mile. When we hit 20 miles, sorry, not 30, when we hit 20 miles, which is going to be in any second when we pull in left here. Where the hell are you going? No, been indicating. Right, as soon as we come in here, we're about to hit 20. Hit 20 now? Yeah, lovely, there you go, 20, so 3.9. Right, let's pull over in here and let's do some maths. Alrighty then, so maths-wise, so it's only a tiny bit different actually. Obviously the 20 mile an hour average, we used 3.8. We've only actually used 3.9 in this situation. Different roads as well, so it's been a fair test. It's been good exploring other places actually. So 30 would have been a little bit quick through the industrial estate with the roundabouts. So now at 3.9, divide that into 74, you get 18.97. Times that by 20, because that's how many miles we've just done. So we could have done about just under 380 miles if we were consistently doing 30 miles an hour. So again, the WLTP range of 328 miles has been annihilated by that. 328, it's added on a good 50 miles. Remember, 20 miles an hour added on about 60 miles. But now it will get interesting. So when we're doing 50 miles an hour, that's where it's going to start to see how the average is going. Right, I need a wee break. Might have a quick McDonald's. I'll see you in a bit. I'm going to turn the camera. All right then guys, there's the national speed limit signs. Woohoo! Right then, we are on the 50. So let's reset the trip. Boop. And we're off. Right, let's keep it to 50 mile an hour now. These, at least now 50, 60 and 70 will keep me interested. It's going to go obviously a hell of a lot faster now. Right, I'll check back in a bit halfway and I will let you know how we're doing. This is going to be more interesting now. This is going to be more at where the WLTP range is, or even beneath it now, I'd assume. Yeah, the average consumption already has been quite considerably higher at 320 watt hours per mile rather than the under 200. So let's see where we're at when we get to halfway. All right folks, we just hit 10 miles, 2.5 it was on for kilowatt hour, so I just had to deal with a bend at 50 in the dark. So yeah, we're averaging more now, clearly 2.5 kilowatts for 10 miles at 50 miles an hour. But I'll turn around, go back and do the same. We said we were going to do 20s, so I've got to commit to 20s now. And let's see how it works out. Right, we'll speak to you in a bit. Hopefully the camera doesn't melt in my hand. Well, actually, I'm not even holding it. I've actually got a fixing to the roof. Apologise if it's a little bit wobbly. It's potentially not the best. I'm trying to help it out a little bit, but these roads are terrible. Let's hope when we get on the motorway for the 60s and 70s that it's going to be a little bit more smooth. All right, chill. Speak to you in a bit. All right, folks, coming to the end of the 50. We've done 19.8. We've used 5 kilowatt hours of energy, averaging 253-ish watt hours per mile. 19.9, let's click on to 20. Are we going to do, oh, there you go. So spot on 20 at 5.1. Okay, before we start the 60, just pulled over quick, do some maths on this one. So it was 5.1, even though actually it's got to back to 5 now, which is strange. But yeah, 5.1 it clicked onto when we did 20. So 5.1, that is, let's just do the maths again. 74 divided by 5.1 gives us 14.5. Times that by 20, so now we're doing 290 miles, see, at 50 miles an hour. So 328 is what it was rated for, 290. So that's getting a bit more realistic, because if I charge this to 100%, it says it's going to do about 297. So that's kind of where we're at. So there you go. Now that we're doing 50 miles an hour, a lot faster, we're quite a bit, we're about 10%, just under 10% underneath what the WLTP range is. Right, let's go for a quick wee. Let's go do 60. So we meet again. It's 10:30 at night, 22:30, nearly. Let's reset the trip. We are now doing 60. Right, let's see what the average consumption is for this. I've had my McDonald's, smashed some nuggets, quick double cheeseburger. We're fueled up. Woo, beg your pardon. Right, let's have a blast down the motorway. Well, not really a blast, it's only doing 60. Oh, sorry, I got hiccups now. And then we'll do 70 on the way back, and then that will complete us. And then I will fill everyone in on the results and all those bits and bobs tomorrow morning after a bit of a sleep, because I am a bit shattered. Right, wish me luck. The final 2 little bits. And good luck to the camera as well. Hopefully it doesn't overheat. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an absolute treat doing 60 miles an hour now. I know I could be going a lot faster here, but after doing 20 miles an hour for an hour, 30 miles an hour for about 40 odd minutes, and then 50 miles an hour, and now 60 miles an hour, this is an absolute treat. That range is flying by. However, on the other hand, you can see how inefficient it is with that average energy, over 300 watt hours per mile. It's making quite a difference. It's the speed exponentially. So we're doing, well, trying to do 60 while slowing down while I'm talking. And then 70 is going to be even less efficient. So, yeah, it is all about the speed. Right, I'll check back in a little moment when we're halfway. All right, there's 9.8, 2.9 kilowatts. Obviously, when we were up, we're using quite a lot more energy now. You can almost see it ticking over. There's 10 miles at 3. So at least it's nice whole round numbers. Remember, at 50 miles an hour, we were finished when it said 5. So let's see if it finishes on 6. Welcome back, folks. 19.8 miles. The car has just told me driver drowsiness, so I'm awake. I promise I'm awake. And we're about to hit 20 miles. There you go. 5.3 kilowatts. So actually the second half of that caught up. Maybe that was to do with elevation, something like that. I mean, we've been doing 60 roughly within 10% the whole time. So yeah, 5.3 at 266. Right then, we'll turn around at the next junction, go back and do 70. 5.3 at 266. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Right, back on the motorway after completing 60s. We are now doing 70s. Let's reset the trip. Done. Right, we're doing 70. Let's see how we get on. Oh my God, I can't stress how nice it is to actually move a bit quicker again. It's 5 to 11 at night. Started filming the intro about 7 o'clock. So we've done a fair few hours of filming. Well, one-man band. Well, you're all with me though. Oh, that's cute. I think I'm getting a bit tired. Right, I'll be back in touch in a matter of minutes when we're creeping up to halfway. This distance is gonna blast by now. This is gorgeous how quick those numbers are going up. Nearly halfway, folks. 9.7, 9.9. So we're gonna click on to 10 miles done. 2.8, there you go, at the update of 10. So 2.8, so if we double it up to 5.6, previously at 60 we used 5.3. So it really does match, doesn't it? It's patterns, very much so. It's not just like a random amount. It really does seem to go up exponentially if we're doing 50, 60 or 70. Yeah, it seems at the moment there doesn't seem to be much of a drop-off. I do have a controlled area where I'd be able to go faster than 70, obviously with no speed limits. It would be really interesting then to run it at, say, 80 for a little while, because I do believe when you start going above 70, the efficiency will really, you'll notice a difference. While remembering the numbers, actually, I've just noticed that the first 10 miles at 70 use less than the first 10 miles at 60. So, I mean, all we can put that down to is elevation around the area that I'm doing this. There are a couple of ups and down little bits, nothing too crazy, just your standard motorway kind of hill, or not even a hill, just a slight incline. So we'll see how that works out on the return leg for the second half of this 70 part. Okay, with only under 2 miles to go now for the rest of our test. Been out here for a fair few hours. Yeah, so it must have been elevation on this motorway that I'm on, because now with 1.5 miles to go, I've now used the same amount of energy as it used doing 60 miles an hour to do 20 miles. So it has evened out over time. Even though we used less energy for the first half, we've used more energy for the second half. So good, so that's evened out. Right, back with you in about a mile. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. 19.7, we've used 5.6, 19.8, one more update, 19, and there is 20, 5.6. I think there is a good pattern here. So 5.6 at 280. Not bad at all. Right, 5.6, 280. Remember to write that down. I will see everyone in the morning when we will have a little top up of everything that has happened. Good night. Woo! Alright folks, welcome back to the garage. We are back home. That felt like it was going to be a long evening, especially at 20 miles an hour. So I've got some of the stats and the figures and things that will be popping up on the screen. So let's go for it. Let's have a look at how many kilowatts used. So firstly, we've got over 10 miles. So you can see a nice little pattern. 1.9 for 20 miles an hour, 2 for 30 miles an hour, and it goes all the way up. We do have a slight anomaly actually, don't we, at 70? I'm putting that down to the gradient potentially in the road. That's the only thing it could be. Everything else was completely even for all of the tests. However, here is the 20-mile graph. So this one actually, you can see they all even out perfectly. It's a good sign this though. It shows the battery's operating properly. Every different speed, you can almost predict what the next speed would be. I'm actually now a bit gutted. I haven't got the 40-mile-an-hour results, because it would be interesting to see if it would be more towards the 20 or 30s, or potentially more up towards the higher readouts, or maybe smack in the middle. There just seems like there's a little, you can see there a bit of a bigger gap between the 30 and the 50-year one. So it would just be interesting to see where it would sit. And then finally, so the whole point of this video was to see if we could beat any of the WLTP range with any of the speeds, and we have done. So you can see on here I've added the WLTP in the center, the pink line, which is 328 miles. And so yes, if you were to maintain 20 or 30 miles an hour, and with these 20s and 30s as well, there was a lot of slowing down for junctions. I had to give way to things and then going back up to 20, not slamming your foot down though, just speeding back up nice and slowly. And we absolutely monstered them. If I just scroll back up here, where are my ranges there? So nearly 390 miles at 20 and 380 miles at 30. That is a huge range. Remember, considering this is the performance vehicle, absolutely fantastic readouts. I have a mate that I work with that has a new version 2024, and it's a long range as well. So it'd be really interesting to see his comparison ranges, but also this car in chill. Remember, this was an insane for the whole thing as well. So with this, you can clearly see the drop off with speed. So the faster you go does not mean more range. You're not going to cover the ground any better. You are going to run out of battery. And I reckon if we were to extrapolate these numbers up further, 80, 90, 100, I think it would start to fall off a cliff. As soon as you go over 80, if you were testing 90 and 100 miles an hour, it would start to really fall off a cliff. So to finish with anyway, I hope you've learned something from this. I certainly have done. If you're still watching at this point, you must be subscribed to the channel, because of it's not been the most exhilarating of videos. However, it's the geeky one. It's good for the stats, good for the numbers, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, even though it might not seemed like it when I was doing 20 for an hour straight. Anyway, it's all in the need of science, and hopefully I'll catch you at the next one. Right, cheers guys, bye bye.